welcome back to another episode of Outside the Fire. I am your host, Krazee J, and we have another guest for you. Oh, wait. Anyway. You remember the show Press Your Luck with the Whammys, right? And even though it wasn't always a good thing, I used to love to watch the antics of the little whammies when they landed on them. You know, no whammies, stop. Always funny to watch. Always a good time. You know, and as a kid, that you kind of look forward to that, even though it might not have been. But this guy also likes to press his luck with the way he burns, with the way he just pushes his limits and everything like that. So without further ado, let's please help me welcome Jason Wamhoff.
Krazee J, what's up, brother?
Hey, welcome.
I'm
so
here.
Happy to have you here.
I am so excited to be part of the Zest Fest League of Fire Chili Eating Champions. I have been eating chili for 4 weeks now. I've had stag chili, Hormel chili. We've made our own chili. Man, I have been hitting it on the chili real hard. So I'm going to make the chili queen. She's going to be proud of me.
Nice. So, in case you're not aware,
thank you very much for your time, man. I really appreciate it. League of Fire, thanks for the invite to Zest Fest. I hope the company I'm in is that's some pretty hard hitters there. So I'm really excited to go up and meet those guys and just have a good time.
For sure. But yeah, in case you're not aware, the chili is a little spicy. Just so you know.
Well, I have been putting Tabasco in it.
Oh, perfect. You're right in line with what we're looking.
And then I had Heath send me a box of chilies, and I found that they were quite bitter and incredibly hot. So rather than I just switched over to these, and these are way easier. You can eat them as stem and everything. They're delicious. And so I probably ate 100 of those. I got this in the bag. This is going to be easy.
No, as you can see, this guy, he loves to have a good time, and that's why we're here. As he's mentioned, he was invited to attend the Zest Fest for the America's Belt, sponsored by the League of Fire in Dallas. And so we're going to get to know you just a little bit during these short minutes, so to speak.
I'm ready. Hit me with the hard questions, Jay.
All right. The first question is, I would like to know who you are and why you are the way you are. No, for real. Like I said, this guy loves to have a good time. So we hope that this little bit of time goes well for you. But yeah, go ahead, give us a little bit of background, whatever you're comfortable sharing about yourself. And since I'm going to ask anyway, go ahead and let us know how you kind of got started and how long your history of the chili spicy community worked out for you.
Sure. My dad was a pepperhead. He loves spicy stuff. I mean, I grant you, this is in the late 60s. I think I'm the oldest contestant in our thing, so I get some ARP points for even attending. Nice. But my dad, he was a construction worker. He was a concrete guy. And so he always drug me out as a kid onto the construction sites. And the construction sites back in Southern California, back in the 70s, there was a lot of Latinos. And so they'd all bring spicy things to eat and they'd share it with me. And I just kind of fell in love with it. I don't recall ever eating a super hot pepper because I don't know that we even knew they existed. This is back in the days of Jalapeno running the show, right?
Sure.
The Mexican food was always a favorite of mine. And as time went on, I remember like in the 90s when Dave's Insanity sauce came out, and I went up to like a little hot sauce shop and we just thought, oh my God, 1,000,000 Scoville, what are you, crazy? And right. I remember you had to sign a waiver and try it off a toothpick. It was mostly marketing. This stuff tasted like motor oil. It was terrible. It was super hot though. And just having my mind blown that much heat could be created off the end of a toothpick. Nice. And then, obviously your friends, everybody gets together and there's a little El Machismo. So, this guy's making habanero salsa. And then fast forward to we started up our YouTube cruising channel, Degenerate Cruisers. We call ourselves Degenerate Cruisers because we're a bunch of degenerates. And we just don't take things too seriously. We just have a good time and celebrate the day. That's our motto. So a couple friends of mine, Jay and Johnny B and Daniel and Roy, we would get together and we would do challenges. The first challenge we did was the Death Nut 2.0. I didn't even know such a thing existed.
Sure.
That's why I like having friends that are smarter than me. So they can kind of keep me online. So they invite me over. We knew enough to prep, I think, just because of the history of eating spicy food, but we didn't have a clue what we were in for. And so we ate the Death Nut. We're just all over the place. Luckily, we were drinking, and turns out alcohol is a good thing to dissolve capsaicin.
Yes.
We didn't feel, I think, the full effect of it. So I thought, wow, I made it through that. And that's a pretty hot thing. So we would get together and just do more and more challenges over the course of time. So we were looking on Amazon and stuff like that for hot challenges and different hot things. And I noticed the League of Fire emblem on that Death Nut 2.0 box. So I found the League of Fire's website, and then there's that list of challenges. So all you got to do is Google it from there, and you can find old Agnes store stuff and Blazing Food stuff and all the Henrys and the Cap Guns and all the good stuff that's out there, and just went to town on it. And my yearning to be more frequent grew after I tried the Moab collab, and I didn't know what I was doing once again, and learning the hard way. Everything is always the hard way for me, it seems like. So we did the Moab the Moab bar, and I finished it in like 9 minutes and change, just under the 10-minute mark. And the dang thing ain't even on camera. So
no.
Matt, I found out later it's Matt that mailed me back, and he's like, it's not even on camera, so I can't really give any points. So I was like, well, I kind of get it, but I think I want to see how far I can really go with this. Now watch me roar.
Yeah. So,
first of the year, my New Year's resolution was to get in the top 100 all time for the League of Fire. So we just started out banging out challenges and doing them about once a week. And then my wife went to take care of her mom over the spring. And so I didn't really have anything else to do, come home and feed the dogs and make sure that I didn't kill her plants. And so I was doing 2 challenges a week or whatever, because I just had a bunch of them stacked around. You're like, oh, I want to do that. Oh, I want to do that. Oh, I want to do that. And you just keep buying them. So I was doing like 2 a week at that point. And then the next thing, I kind of shoved myself into the top 20 of the League of Fire for the season.
Sweet. Very cool. Yeah. This shelf right here is all League of Fire challenges.
Yeah, and they're the better challenges. We bought like the little nitro, and I wasn't super impressed with the heat on it. I thought it was a little overpriced. And my buddy Daniel brought over the pack. He won chip at a pool party we were having. And he brought it on a cruise ship, and so then he kind of started the tradition of us doing hot challenges on a cruise ship.
Nice.
Which I didn't know that the Rummy Bears had extract in it. That's like my kryptonite is extract. It just gives me really bad cramps. So I did that one on a cruise ship, and oh man, headed straight for the bar.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, well, that's an awesome backstory. Thanks for sharing that. Great to learn a little more about you, as you and I have not really had a lot of behind the scenes communication with schedule differences and stuff like that. But man, you definitely jump yourself right into doing various challenges and what we call flash challenges, and just different ways to get that heat. Yeah, so that's really cool. It's really cool to get to know people in the community, especially people, as people evolve and kind of fill in the role, so to speak. Nicknames come around, and people choose their nicknames. So you already touched on it. I was going to ask about Jason the Degenerate, how you got that and where you got that from. But like you said, your channel, which you can go ahead and if you don't mind, just talk a little bit more about what your channel does on YouTube. Kind of give yourself a little self promotion. We'll go ahead and get into that since you already mentioned it.
So our channel on YouTube is just Degenerate Cruisers, because we do travel related stuff, mostly cruising. My wife and I took a 25th anniversary cruise, and it was a 7-day cruise, and we went to Cozumel and Grand Turk and Belize and Honduras, and just had like this most magnificent time. Drink package, the whole deal. great, fantastic shows, phenomenal drinks. The food was fantastic. The ports of call were wonderful. The weather was awesome. We made a ton of friends on that ship, and we're just like, man, why don't people know about this? Why are we all saving our money up for life? This for this
Right.
once a year or once every 5 years vacation. Grab the kids, grab your spouse, grab your bud, and jump on a cruise ship for $300 and just have the time of your life. I mean, I just couldn't
Right.
believe how ridiculously inexpensive it was. But being a travel channel, it's a little hard to put content out every week. So I can't be on a cruise ship every week publishing a new vlog. And we started doing some lives, and we made a bunch of friends in the community that I hold dear to my heart still. Some of my best friends are from this cruising community. And so we would just try and figure out what we could do. So we had Disney annual passes, and we would go down to Icon Park and do Orlando based stuff and whatever was around Florida. And then, like I said, my friend, Jay and Johnny B and Daniel and Roy, they got started doing hot challenges. So we just started putting those out, and then that just seemed like an easy way. You could do it right here from the house, so it didn't require a lot of planning or a big trip or a big expenditure. It was just the challenge. So we just started doing hot challenges.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that
So
just
you
kinda
mentioned.
helped fill the gap.
So yeah, you mentioned getting into the spicy challenges and stuff, and you said the Death Nut 2.0 was your original like thing that kind of got you really kicked off into like, yeah, I'm gonna try to look for more of these. Mine was the 2020 version of the one chip challenge. I watched a buddy of mine go through it, and he decided to try to eat one on his lunch break, and it didn't go so well for him. So I thought I would give it a try, and I didn't have a terrible experience with it. So I like to say I grew in this community because the one chip challenge did not suck for me, other than the flavor.
Yeah, and I can't imagine what this would have went like if we had cracked open the Death Nut and it was crummy and it wasn't very hot. We'd have probably threw the towel in on the whole thing.
Right.
Fortunately, Blazing Foods brought the goods on that one, and our minds were blown that something
That's
could
right.
be that hot for consumer use. It seems like you should have to go to like a factory and have training like you were about to jump out of an airplane or something.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So
Have you ever experienced the Death Nut 3.0? Have you tried that challenge as well?
That's actually one of my favorite ones, Jay. It's a really good pointer. So if you're looking for points in League of Fire, it's a 9 pointer, I think.
9 points, yes.
And then they went on sale for 2 for 20.
Yes, I
So
remember that.
ended up buying. I did 3 of them, and then I bought like 3 more packs, or I did 2 of them and bought 3 more buy one get one or 2 for 20 deals, and so I ended up doing 8 of them, and then we kind of got sick of doing it, just the flavor.
Yeah.
Way more death nuts. So we back to back the last 2. So we did two at a time.
Okay. And how would you say like doing 2 challenges like that back to back builds or how like I think I've heard some people refer to it, and I probably know the answer to this, but go ahead for others. Like when you get back into doing a challenge again right after you just completed one, how does that help you with your tolerance for the next challenge, or does it make it worse, better? Can you explain that, please?
The second one is way harder, I think, than the first one. So it'll definitely help build your tolerance.
Right.
It'll definitely get your the rest of your system in order if it wasn't before, and it really builds your I don't know what's the right word, your the ability to attack something, knowing that you could run through 2 challenges. My sense of accomplishment, that's
Mhm.
one of my favorite things about doing challenges, is that sense of accomplishment that you've done something that not a lot of
Yes.
people could do. You can Google any or YouTube any challenges, and you'll find a bunch of people that failed it, and you'll find a few that succeeded it. And so I take a lot of pride in having succeeded that, as heat tolerance. I don't know, for whatever reason, it's just something I like, spicy stuff. So it is much, much harder to do too. The time also, just
Yes.
rather than it being a 15-minute challenge, now you're in for a half hour of fun.
And you've
And
already ridden out that entire first challenge, so yeah.
so, like we were talking about, we did Jared and Yosh and I did the Tube of Terror last
Yeah.
Saturday for fun,
Gonna
and
speaking of which, Jared like to ask, which one did you think was hotter, the Death Nut or the Tube of Terror in general?
right. The death nut, the last nut is hotter, but there's only a handful of them, where the tube of terror is terror the entire
The
way through.
entire time, right?
That's
Yeah.
13 million Scoville of an ounce and a half versus 2 ounces of building heat from something that's quite pleasurable to eat all the way to something that's near panic mode. But I think like the death nut, because you'll do it and then you get to the fifth death nut, then you wait the 5 minutes, you start at a cooler nut and then you have to build back up, or like
Right.
back to back tubes of terror. That's 13 million Scoville, wait 5 minutes, and 13 million more Scoville, a whole plate full of it.
Right. For
So I think it
sure.
depends on the challenge. You know, some challenges are just really fun to do back to back. I did the 6 hot balls back to back. Another one I found out has extract in it. And
Yeah, that's a rough one for me too. Ugh.
that last 6 balls, it was
Yeah.
incredibly. You could just see me cramping on video.
So when you do like timed challenges where the challenge says you have a certain amount of time to do it, but you still have to complete that time before you go to your burn time. Do you say, or would you even know if you think it is easier to get through that quickly as possible and fight that longer burn time, or to continue the challenge until the burn time actually starts? What would you say if you even know?
That's a great question. And the tube of terror that we did last Saturday, all 3 of us attacked it different ways. So
Right.
I would say take your time, let the build over time, and then as long as I was under that 10-minute mark, and Jared and Yosh, they were done in about 5 minutes. So they were
Okay.
willing to take the hard burn and then get over the peak, and then know that they had the rest of it in the bag. And I was more of a slow and steady, see what happens, let's ride this out kind of guy.
Okay.
I don't
That's
know if I
cool.
have a preference though, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, some people said they want to get through that peak quicker. And then I'm like, well, I want to get to the relief faster in mentally for me. That's how I think. But I don't know, because I don't know if I've ever rushed through a challenge to get through it faster to hopefully peak quicker. I don't know.
Yeah, there's definitely strategy to doing challenges, and
Sure.
by watching every challenge I ever did, I probably watched 20 YouTube videos on before I did it, just
Yes.
to see what other people's reaction was. And that's the difference in tolerance with everyone. Is one
Right.
person is just suffering, and the next person just they're sitting there eating Cheetos.
Right.
But seeing what the strategies are of people that are going to go fast or slow, or they're one nut at a time instead of 3, or if they just
Mm.
grab as many and go as hard as they possibly can, even down to the way they swallow. I've seen people try and pitch it to the back of their throat and skip the back of their tongue, things like
Yeah.
that.
And you know what? Honestly, for me, I think I would rather get a mouth burn than a throat burn first, and kind of go through that, because if it hits my throat, then I know next is probably my stomach, and then it more ruins it for me. I catch myself being able to tolerate the heat better than I do the stomach, which is my next question to you. Would you say the heat is easier for you to deal with, even if it is top end versus your stomach, or do you think your stomach handles things well compared to the heat you put yourself
Uh,
through?
I heard Jif say it. That's where I got my official information. When Jif said the last thing to come around is your gut when you're building tolerance. So I'm
Yeah.
just like you. Give me all the mouth heat you want, because my mouth came around a long time ago to hotter stuff. I mean, can I clearly find myself in the danger zone? Absolutely.
Yes,
But
for
my
sure.
stomach is just still a pansy. It doesn't, I've been working on it, and generally, I don't know, maybe it takes months or years or whatever it takes, or maybe it never comes around.
Right.
But Jif is living proof that it can be done. Sit there and
Definitely, for
drink
sure.
3 bottles of Tink, and then just go, okay, the gut's good.
Yeah, he is a character of a different breed, that is for sure.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
community's full of just awesome people. So I think
Yes.
that for me, League of Fire, well, I saw that emblem on the box, and I knew that I was onto something when I visited their website and I could find and click on all these videos. and I could watch people like Johnny Scoville or Mr. Brad Warden or Steve from Heat My Shorts or any other the people that I found, Bella and Dark from Heat 101, you know, watching them do challenges. But the best you could do was leave a comment and then maybe hope for a reply or try and friend somebody on Facebook and get an answer. But there really wasn't a playground for that. And that's when I found Cap Crew. And then, you know, things really started shifting into gear for me.
For sure. So speaking of which, before the Cap Crew, which is a great group, if you're not aware of it, Cap Crew, they burn hard and they burn serious. And what I mean by that is they find very spontaneous and very odd ways of getting that heat, whether it be through a tincture, ingesting a pepper in a certain way, just all kinds of things. It's a great group to be in. So I remember when I first kind of saw you come into the realm that I first saw you, you know, you were experiencing with some tincture, which actually ended up from like, I think the, what was it? The Cap Gun Challenge. And it was a balsamic based tincture. Was that your first experience with tinctures? And then you kind of grew from there, or how'd that
No, but it was only a few weeks before that I had actually tried a legitimate tincture. I was out at event over in Tampa, Florida, and entered in a jalapeno contest just because they were giving out free jalapenos and it sounded fun. So me and Jay, my friend, entered in a jalapeno contest, and we were wandering around and looking at hot sauces and buying hot sauces and eating stuff. And then we ended up in the kind of the back area, and there's a guy there from Seriously Hot Peppers, Tom Broom. And he was selling lemon brain strains and chocolate brain strain plants. So I picked up a couple of those, and he also had some tincture for sale. Yeah. So I tried his lemon tincture, and I was like, ooh, wait a minute. This is pretty dang hot. Right. So that's like a new level of heat. And then we tried his 10 million Scoville tincture as well. And that just was like, blew my mind. Yes. So I bought a couple bottles of it. And then along the way, I was asking Steve Berlant from Old Agnes about the difference between capsaicin crystals and how do you pronounce it? Oli resin, the extract.
Right. Yeah.
And he said, I don't know the answer, but I know who you should probably talk to. You should probably talk to Ryan Thomas. And I'm like, okay, I'll try and find a guy named Ryan Thomas. That'll be easy.
Yeah, for sure.
So fortunately, I found Ryan Thomas. I sent him a friend request because I wanted my message to be seen, because you know how Facebook Messenger is. Otherwise, it's like you have to go to your profile.
It can get hidden, especially with a guy like that. Yeah.
Right. So I did get a hold of him, and he sends me this like really specific, knowledgeable answer. And then he must have looked to make sure that I wasn't going to about try and sell him Sensi or something. And so he looked at my profile and saw that I, challenges that I posted, and he invited me to Cap Crew.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. That's cool. You were invited by basically the man who makes everybody's life miserable.
I didn't even know such a playground existed.
No,
the funnest
I'll tell you, yeah, I was honored to be invited to a group like that as well. It's very cool.
Oh, and the friends, my God, the friends I have made through Cap Crew. My journey to Zest Fest for League of Fire is directly through Cap Crew. And Jared has, because I'm an old man. I just like eating hot stuff. I'm scared to death, right? I've got anxiety about going, and what do I do? How do you prepare yourself for a pepper eating competition? Right. And so I kind of made Jared my Sherpa, I don't know, involuntarily. So I just start texting him and messaging him and calling him and asking him questions. And he's just, he's just been the greatest person to have an influence and kind of just be there, and he'll be at the event. But I mean, as a competitor too, that's this community is he's not like, I ain't telling you nothing, man, because you're competing against me. He's like, I want you to do the best you can do. And so let me help you do that.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether I finish this ahead of you, you behind me, what that even means. But what I want to see is you do your best.
Yeah. And this has been mentioned in a handful of interviews. Jared, one of the most charitable gentlemen I've ever met, and just the things he will do for somebody else's success is beyond explanation. Like he wants to see other people succeed. Like it's almost like, with your kids, you want to see them be more successful than you are. He was almost taking on that role in a
For the
sense.
world, though, any chili head, I bet you Jared would jump head over heels to find the right answer, to give people the right advice and inspire them.
Yeah,
Just once again, that and Jared, while he's quite exemplary, he's extraordinary as far as a human goes in the world. You'll find Cap Crew. There's hundreds of them deep.
oh, that yeah, everybody in there is
I even texted Bella from Heat 101 and asked her about cramps, along with Steve from Heat My Shorts, and got an answer from both of them. And they're
yeah,
telling me, pre this and do that afterward. And then if you run into trouble, this mashed potato or,
yeah,
all kinds of different advice. And, both of them have full time lives, the same as the rest of us. But to take minutes out of their day to sit there and chit chat with you about helping you along the way.
right. So speaking of cramps, since you mentioned it, what is your go-to method or whatever to deal with those cramps, long term, short term? Kind of how is your routine with that? And while we're at it, what was your worst experience with cramps?
Well, like I said, I learned everything the freaking hard way. So my past go to would just be to lay on the couch and writhe in pain and hope they
Woo.
go away. All of my instincts are wrong, is what I figured out. So when you
Yeah.
eat something hot, your instinct is to go for something to drink. So I'm over here sipping tea or water, which is just making it worse.
Yes.
And then I
Great.
don't, once my stomach is all lit up, it's all, what are you doing, Jason? It's all mad at you and you're getting cramps. You just want to leave it alone. You don't want to put anything in there. Right. So
Mm,
my instinct was to let it settle by itself, which is just horribly wrong. That's the exact opposite of what you should do. So,
right.
Jared and Bella and Steve and one of them, if you look back on Cap Crew, my first question out of the gate is, am I doing this even right? Is this normal? And it turns out it actually is normal.
Mhm.
Capsaicin, if the stuff I read on the internet, it's an amazing substance. Your body perceives it as maybe it shouldn't be there, and it tries to reject it.
Mhm.
How many other fruits do you know of that have been weaponized? There's nobody running around spraying apple juice in a bear's eye. You're
Yes.
not going to do crowd control with a pear.
Yes. Matt Pants refers to it as weaponized fruit as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So now I've learned that certain foods, throw the Tums at it. Orange juice. I haven't tried the pickle juice trick. That seems pretty common. Mashed potatoes keep coming to the top of the list whenever we
Right.
talk about cramps and things like that. But the opposite of my instinct of not to eat anything and then just to sit there and suffer
Yeah.
is exactly wrong. And you should absolutely eat something after the fact, probably something high in fat and high in carbs. Make a little cramp sandwich out of that thing.
For sure. For sure. Very
And the
cool.
hottest and worst I ever did it, I think this one keeps coming to the top of the list for your interviews too, is Old Agnes brownies.
I'm telling you, there is something and they are delicious on top of it.
Oh yeah. But
Yeah.
I bought the trifecta from him, the crunchy, the one, and the Moab collab, and had 17 hours of cramps.
Ooh.
Once again, terrible. Well, the prep wasn't bad, but the aftercare was terrible.
Yeah.
And then turned around, did the Moab collab, and had the same issue there. The crunchy was actually really good and quite tolerable. And
Right.
4 points for these challenges. I mean, come on, League of Fire.
I
Really?
said the same thing. Those are rough. Yeah.
Really? 4
I
points?
think when they set the point for that originally, they didn't realize what people have gone through
Yeah,
first.
but that's not a 10-point challenge. There isn't one in the League of Fire,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Right. So, what would
And
you say?
Steve and Michelle are just so awesome. They'll like write on the box, "Hey, good luck, prep well." Cute little XOs and smiley faces. They'll send you out a printed copy of the League of Fire rules, man.
Yeah.
When it comes down to plug time, remember to plug Old Agnes.
Yes, I agree. I'm with you on that. We spent a lot of time plugging Steve and Michelle in my last set of interviews too, because they seem to be at the top of the getting you prepared for extremely hot.
And great members of the community too. Just
Yeah,
great,
for
fantastic.
sure. For sure. Very, very giving and just loving people in general.
Yeah.
So, what would you say, whether it be a League of Fire challenge or not, would be your toughest challenge that you ever put yourself through while doing the challenge? Um, you know, kind of dealing with it time wise or whatever. What was the toughest challenge you ever attempted or completed?
The Moab collab was really tough to get through. They all sound so easy. It's a caramel chocolate bar. And then
Yeah.
you start to bite into the caramel and you realize that it's made of like rubber cement. It's just
Mhm.
the most thickest, most gourmet caramel you ever encountered. It's not just like your average Carmelo or Rolo caramel.
Yeah.
It's thick. And
Yeah.
this thing is all of 8 ounces of chocolate to try and chew through in 10 minutes. And then,
Right.
like I said, the old Agnes stuff with the one and the Moab collab of trying to.
Yeah.
I was thinking, hoping it was going to be more brownie than fudge, but it's honestly more fudge than brownie, and it takes
Very
me.
dense.
I missed one of them. I was 10 minutes and 33 seconds. I started getting the gag for the past half of it, where I
Yeah.
kind of had to hurt and then swallow it real quick just to get through it, and missed mid the time and got a point deducted.
Yeah, I think for me the worst part is not completing a challenge, but still having to deal with the aftermath anyway. It's like, oh my goodness, it just I think it ramps it up mentally even worse.
Yeah, for toughest challenge I've done, it's not. It wouldn't be League of Fire, but the crew comes out with some challenges. You heard Yosh talk about his 16 million Scoville toothpaste. I got
Yes.
to do that.
Wow, okay. Okay.
And that
Very
was
cool.
wicked heat. And it was so weird because there was nothing going. The rest of your body's like, what's the matter up there? And the toppy is just lit up. And after you're done abrasing your gums to rawness, you swish with tincture.
Yes. A yellow reaper tincture on top of,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It was an awesome challenge. The noodles challenges, the dragon ramen, and then Ryan. I think so far the highest hill I've climbed would be Ryan's Seven Sins Tink challenge, where it was
Yes.
7 2 mil bottles of Tink chugged on time and with a weight in between. And that was the first time I got cap claw, or I had
Yeah.
pain in my
Which I was gonna say, I remember when you did that challenge and you're like, where's the other bottle?
Yeah,
Where's the
yeah,
other
just
bottle?
disoriented and loaded. I wrote him down, so I wrote the plug down as number one, and then I went around the circle from his
Yeah.
ground, and then I had the plug at the bottom. But it never occurred to me in the near panic mode, trying to hold it together, wondering if I'm okay, feeling okay, that it was Seven Sins Tink challenge, not
For
eight.
a reason, right?
Yeah, you open it. Yeah, yeah. It says seven right on the bottle, man. Put it
Yeah.
together. I got my wife running all over the kitchen, look for a bottle of Tink that doesn't exist.
Yeah, because I remember you were like doubting yourself. Well, I guess I'll do this again if I
Yeah.
have to.
I did do a celebratory Robbie though, so as Jiff says, established dominance.
Right. For
That was
sure.
a tough
Very,
challenge.
yes. Awesome. So
I mean,
what
I'll
do
sign up
you
for near any challenge. I don't really care. It's all fun, and it's fun to be active in the community and interact with friends and stuff like that. So I don't whatever comes up, I'll do.
so yeah, I was gonna say you pretty much jump on most of the challenges, if not all of them that I've seen lately. What is your favorite way to chase that heat? Is it the tincture? Is it a fresh pod, or is it another way, sauces or anything like that?
So I think my favorites list in order is probably number one. I love hot sauce.
Uh-huh.
Love hot sauce. You put it on every meal. Everything feels kind of naked and hard to swallow without some hot sauce lubricating it and heating up my mouth. Secondly, I think I like tincture, and then Pow after that,
Oh,
then
wow.
motor oil, rat poison, and then finally pods.
Okay. So
Do not like the
so
taste of pods.
I was gonna say, so you do know that as in the beginning of this is a chili pod pepper eating competition.
Was really hoping it was actually chili the soup, not chili the pepper.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I was
that,
gonna ask you. Do you
how,
have a
how, how do we
favorite?
all sit down and do tincture challenge in the League of Fire? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I get
Or
that.
it
And
has to
and
be a eating and there's pods I do like. I'm not saying I don't. I hate all pods. An overstatement. Clearly, there's pods that I enjoy.
sure.
But you get into the really the 1.2 above scale, and they start getting really bitter, really floral, perfumey,
Mhm.
over the top. It's just like I wouldn't sit around and eat a stick of butter, but added to something, it's fantastic.
Yes. Oh, I'm with that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Some people like the chocolate bootleg. What would you say is your favorite pepper pod to eat, as far as either firm profile or just something you enjoy if you were to eat just the pod for the flavor, the taste, the burn?
Probably for just like if it's something to pull up and eat, just out of the blue, I would probably go between Scotch Bonnet and a Ghost. You know, I
Okay.
love jalapenos and habaneros, obviously, but you know that those are the what is it, the ahi. That
Ahi.
variety is fantastic. I tried one of Bruce sent me some green and yellow Slimers. Those were delicious,
Cool.
but like easily available, Scotch Bonnets are fantastic. Heat wise, I would land between like a Scorpion and a Ghost for the balance of unpleasant flavor and heat.
Hmm. So you obviously were here. Like I said, you received a personal invite from the League of Fire to attend the Zest Fest in Dallas. Um, what was your reaction when you received that invite? You know, somebody had to have recognized you from somewhere, right?
I had to scroll back up and make sure I was having a conversation with Jiff. He's the one that sent it to me.
Right.
And make sure it wasn't somebody cloned his account and was trying to. The next thing would be, that's fantastic. We would that you want to attend. So please send $100 to our account in Nigeria.
Yeah.
I thought for
Yeah.
sure somebody was trying to scam me when I first read the letter. And then I scrolled back up and it was conversation that I previously had with Jiff. So I'm like,
Right.
this has got to be actually Jiff. And I handed my phone over to my wife and I'm like, would you look at this? Read this for me. Look, the hair stands up my arms.
Oh,
Just
look, I
talking
see it. Yes.
just talking about it. I mean, just like what? So a year ago, I'm setting a goal to be in the top 100 of the League of Fire because I had a challenge that didn't get accepted and had some burner friends.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, I'm attending Zest Fest with, I mean, the best of the best. These are some really serious pepper people.
Yes. Yeah. And like you said, not one of them is an enemy of each other. You know what I mean? Everybody is part of the community, a friend, family, basically atmosphere. It's just
Yeah, you won't find that very often. I mean, I sit around watching NASCAR, and there is not a car that's in second that won't take out the car in first. And I'll
right.
bet you, if my seat was sliding out from under me at Zest Fest, somebody would come and push it back in for me.
Absolutely, without a doubt. So as I do usually, and I know we talked about your YouTube channel, but where can we find you, more of you? You have your YouTube thing. Is there any other social media areas that we could see more of you? If not, no big deal.
Yeah, since we're not out to make a buck or interested in a presence or whatever the case. We just want to have some fun and make some money. It's YouTube, and you can find me personally on Facebook, and we have a Facebook group for degenerate cruisers, but it's mostly travel related where people will post travel stuff.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, this would be your free time to give a plug or share or mention somebody at your will, somebody you want to dedicate maybe the challenge to or anything like that. This is your moment to spill that.
We're almost to the end. I know where this part is fits in your program. You're trying to get rid of me, man.
Never, never.
Clearly, I have to throw out props for my friends. Jay and Johnny B and Daniel and Roy. Those are my guys. Those are my friends that got me into this level of competitive hot challenges and stuff like that. Steve and Michelle from Old Agnes. Clearly, go find the challenges there. They'll actually send you the League of Fire cards. If you order something from other places, you won't get a League of Fire card.
Right.
And everybody from Cap Crew. Clearly, I mentioned Ryan and Jared, but y'all know who you are. And when I did that burn for a cause where we would give $50 you would be teamed up with somebody. If you made it through 31 days of Robbie's, you would
Yeah.
donate $50 to theirs. And you would not believe the amount of tink that was sitting in my mailbox. People are like, oh, you want to do it? Here, I'm going to send you some tink. I'm like, I don't even know you.
Yes. Yep.
Some guy named Jaws is sending me stuff from Colorado.
Right. That's so cool for sure. Yep. And I know we're kind of wrapping this up, but I noticed your pins on your hat. You have a little saying that you came into the crew calling it the Flamin' Poo Crew. Where did that start? Because I needed to ask you about that.
I don't know. Um, everybody had some people just have a fun way of saying hello, and
Yeah.
all of this hot stuff that they were eating just it occurred to me that there must be something more going on here than their flaming mouths, that there was probably some flaming poo involved. So
I'm
I
sure.
thought, ooh, I thought flaming poo crew, that rhymes, that's catchy, so that's what I started saying, flaming poo crew.
Nice. Let's see, we munching on a little chippy chip here, and that is the new version of the Pocky One Chip Challenge.
Yeah, the 2022.
Yeah.
So I want you to imagine the boardroom conversation. You're sitting up at Packy headquarters. One guy looks at the other, says, "Hey, what do you want to do for the 2022 challenge?" "Well, maybe we should use some paprika or onion or spice or chili powder to make it taste good. What do you think?" "No, I'm thinking blue." Why blue? You're serious?
Yeah.
Blue? Blue was the best you guys could come up with?
Well, I'll tell you what I think it was. So some people were being credited or discredited on the TikTok for doing fake challenges, and I think this was a way to prove that the chip was real, that they were eating as best as they could, with, you know what I mean. So I think that's where
It's a
that
1
actually
point
started.
challenge.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I know. But for TikTok views, you'll be surprised what people will do. No, but of course, I do thank you for squeezing me into your schedule. I know everybody's got a life, but I wish you the best, and good luck in the event. And I hope that you do well, just as I have all the other people that I've interviewed. And I look for you all to be at the last pepper and see what it comes down to.
I'm very much looking forward to it, and I seriously appreciate your time, sir. Thank you very much for having me.
Yes, and I look forward to getting to know you a little bit more.
I promise.
All right, stay crazy. I'll see you.
Later, guys.
Well, there you have it. Whammy. Jason Wamhoff. Like I said, a great guy to get to know. He likes to have a good time. He's definitely somebody that burns hard and tests his limits on a regular basis. So yeah, Cap Crew was mentioned a lot in this. Look them up. Um, they burn hard and they burn often. But I'm Krazee J, and I like to do things the crazy way. I hope to see you all again very, very soon. Stay crazy, my friends.